To start, who are you, how old are you, and where do you come from?
My name is Darryl Li. I'm 32 years old as of today, turning 33 in about a month. So feeling quite old, although some people would say that I'm still young. And I am from the USA, specifically Los Angeles.
How Jada was created?
Jada started as a family company, and thankfully has still remained a family company even after being acquired by Simbadiki, but was started by let's say a mom and pop style of founders who had an ambition one day of starting their own toy company. Actually, the story was one day the CEO at the time, Jack, was walking down a retail store, down a toy aisle, saw all of these products on shelves, and just one day had a thought to himself where he just took a step back and just wondered what it would look like if he was able to get some of his product on the shelf. And that's kind of what started this whole journey of how Jada started. And what really put Jada on the map was, I want to say, in the time frame of like the early 2000s, when dub was a popular thing for cars with big wheels on big SUVs and things like that. Jada really coined that look, and since then got known for all things vehicles and really having that Jada iconic style and Jada iconic look. And so to this day, we try to incorporate that into our designs and stay on trend for everything car culture. So that's a little bit about us and the history.
What's your job inside the Jada's company?
My position at Jada, so the official title is Brand Director for Vehicles. So I work very closely with our product development team on vehicle selection, vehicle design. In addition to that, I also lead the marketing activations for our vehicle business, whether that's for our core brands or also with any licensed brands like Fast and Furious. I also manage the events and partnership space within the company. So any of the influencers or content creators that we work with, as well as organizing events such as our own events or maybe participating in other partner events, things like that. So basically anything that it has to do with the vehicle business, I'm pretty heavily involved in.
What's the model car creations process?
The process for developing a model car at Jada is a multifaceted process, actually, and goes through quite a few departments. And each department has a specialized point person to handle every single step that is relevant to them. So for example, we have our licensing team, and they will be the ones to go out and secure the licenses and the rights for the vehicles that we might have interest in doing. And once that's secured, then we work very closely with our product development team, who will then generate what we call design sheets or e-sheets. And that's basically what the vehicle will look like in terms of the kind of design that we want to put on it. Once that's created, it gets sent to the licensor to have them either approve it or disapprove it with any changes that we have to make. And once that gets done, then we start the fun process of the actual vehicle development. So all of that 3D artwork gets sent overseas to our China team, who will then work to create a first shot sample. So that's kind of like your beginning phases of a 3D and grayscale model. That really allows our team to kind of analyze, maybe the dimensions are incorrect or the wheel fitment is incorrect, certain things need to be changed, and we'll send those comments back to our China team for them to make the revision. The sample continues back and forth with licensors all the way till the end, where we're happy with the final sample product, and then it goes to final production. So that's a quick explanation of how it gets done.
How many employees are worldwide in Jada team?
So I would say, if my estimation is correct, we have between 70 to 80 people in the US. We have about 20 to 30 in our Hong Kong team, and significantly more in our China team. I want to say upwards of like 50 in the team. So quite extensive.
What's your favorite license within the Jada's brand?
My favorite license within Jada's range has to be Fast and Furious, for obvious reasons. As a car guy, that's the movie that I watched as a kid growing up, and that's what gave me the introduction into cars. And so now to be able to have the opportunity to work directly with Universal as the licensor on the franchise that I grew up with is actually something truly special. So that's my long-winded answer to say Fast and Furious.
Are you a car addict? Which car do you already own?
The first part of the question, am I a car addict? That is an understatement. Absolutely, I am. I think about cars like all the time. When I'm back at home, every weekend I'm at some sort of car event. Cars and coffee is a big thing, so it's just kind of like a morning meetup with a bunch of enthusiasts. If I'm not doing that, it's probably doing some sort of media opportunity, photo shooting, video shooting, things like that. I feel like a lot of my life is actually surrounded around cars. And the second part of your question, which cars do I already have? I currently have a 2015 Nissan GTR. It has the full Liberty Walk silhouette kit on it, and actually has a racing design inspired by the silver Skyline that Paul Walker drove from Too Fast, Too Furious. For obvious reasons, as mentioned earlier, Fast and Furious is my favorite movie franchise, so I thought that was the most fitting for it. So yeah, and my daily driver is a Honda Civic Type R, because I love the manual transmission. So those are the two cars right now.
Can you talk about the GTR R35 with the Jada covering?
So what inspired the build of that car actually was obviously my love for the franchise, but also as a bit from a business perspective, Jada has the biggest library of Fast and Furious cars. And we're always looking for ways to keep things fresh as well as innovate, right? And so one of the concepts and ideas that we brought to Universal was, because Jada has such an outstanding history and design for vehicles, let us try developing a car that would be in the Fast and Furious franchise and also by modern standards if it was done today. And so we felt that the GTR was the perfect platform for it, because from a product perspective, the R34 Skyline is one of our top sellers. And so we really wanted to see if we can put our design to the test and see if we can create something truly cool and unique, again, by today's car standards. And we feel that we've achieved that with partnering with the right partners, with Liberty Walk, with Universal, and certainly having the Jada style and the Jada flair as part of this entire build. So that's how it came together.
How do you choose new models?
Very simple. It has to be cool. It has to resonate with the car enthusiast. It has to resonate with the diecast collector. It has to be modifiable to an extent, right? As mentioned earlier, there is a particular Jada style that we like to go for. And so if the car meets all of those requirements, absolutely we would love to do it. Even better if it has tons of aftermarket support.
Why choosing diecast?
That's our bread and butter. That's how we started. That's where our history of, the company for 25 years has been doing diecast or radio control. We also feel that we can achieve the most detail with diecast, and also from a collectability and quality standpoint, when you hold a diecast model for the very first time, there are certain elements to that that I feel are intangible. So when you pick it up, it's cold, it's cool to the touch. It gives you this feeling. It's heavy, it's weighted, it feels quality. And once you lay paint over diecast, it executes much better and cleaner than as if you were to spray plastic, for example. So everything about it, quality, craftsmanship, all of that stuff is why we decided to do diecast.
What would be your dreams licensor to add to the Jada's range?
Wow, that's a hard one. I feel like within our licensing portfolio, we have a lot of the best of the best that you can ask for. So I can only speak to this question from a more personal standpoint. And if that's the case, I love Pokemon. I grew up on Pokemon. I think it would be so cool to see us do any sort of execution within it. So that's one that I'm crossing my fingers for.
Jada is nowadays a well-known toys company. Did you guys ever expected this for Jada?
I would say a little bit of yes and no, right? I think when you start your own business, you have high hopes and you have high aspirations, and you dream that one day, your brand could be maybe at a particular level of what you envisioned. I think that's one aspect of it. And I think the other aspect of it is to enjoy the ride and, as they say, kind of create your own luck in a way and see, how far that takes you. I will say throughout the last couple of years, we've gotten very strategic in our decision making as far as from a company perspective, from a business perspective, and even with speaking on behalf of the vehicle team, how we choose to invest into our different tooling models and castings and things like that. We've gotten more selective and strategic in that sense, all with the purpose to push us to even higher levels and to really set us up for a very great future. And so to sum it up, these days, yes, we do have high hopes and high aspirations to continue to push ourselves into a very great future.
How it feels to meet or interview people like Cody Walker, Shum Kang, Tyrese Gibson, or the Fast and Furious casting?
I think it's the coolest thing. To be very honest, never did I ever imagine myself being in this position and having the opportunity to meet with talented individuals like themselves. And I think beyond what they portray on the screen as characters, having the opportunity and ability to get to know them as people, and having the realization that they're just truly genuine people, I think that's the coolest thing. Because while we all share a passion and love for cars, and that's what connects us, I think the thing that takes it beyond all of that is the true human component to it. And that's something that is very rewarding for myself. So I'm thankful every day to be in the position that I'm in, to have the opportunities that I have, to be able to interact with these kinds of people. And it's definitely something that I don't take for granted. And hopefully many more to come.
How did you reach to get Shum Kang as a Jada Toys ambassador?
Funny story about that, actually. So he reached out to our marketing agency at the time, actually, for some product as part of a promotion that I believe that he was working on, or something to that effect. And so we had the opportunity to connect with him through that. Had the opportunity to introduce ourselves, a little bit of who we are, what we do. And the best thing about it was through those conversations, everything happened so organically and it happened so naturally, that one thing just kind of progressed into another. And the idea of brand ambassador came up, and we both felt like it was a mutually beneficial thing and a really cool thing, because for both of us, it's kind of like the cherry on top. And so we're able to reach an agreement pretty quickly, and here we are today. I still can't believe that I get to say that Sung Kang is a Jada brand ambassador. But yeah, that's the quick story of how it happened.
You guys are attending at many shows and events in USA. How do you manage this?
Certainly. With all the events that we're planning in the US, and it's quite a few of them, we definitely want to have a lot more international exposure. We've been getting quite a bit of good international feedback in terms of the events that we participate in back in the United States. And so we're always looking for ways and opportunities to involve ourselves internationally, and specifically in France, certainly partnering with Solido and any of the events that you guys might be participating in any way that we can help facilitate, what that might look like. We definitely have an interest. And outside of France, partnering with our parent company in Simbadicki in Germany, obviously attending different diecast events and car shows out there, but Asia as well. We just finished one in China called All In Tuning, where we partnered with innovating, who is a vinyl company. They helped us with our presence out there, and we're also partnering with International Automodified for car shows out in Singapore, Malaysia, and Thailand, to name a few. So we're quite busy, quite international, and hoping to scale it even more in the foreseeable future.
Are you nostalgic of the early 2000s?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I think from a Dubs brand perspective, the nostalgia, yes, because that's where or how Jada developed so much of its history and what it's known for, and what really set us on this path of being a diecast and radio control vehicle-based company. And then from a Fast and Furious perspective, nostalgic from the sense that this is what I grew up on. This is what got me into cars. Seeing how the characters modified the cars, seeing how they drove the cars, what the design elements were like and how it influenced what design elements and modifications look like today. There's so many resources to be pulled from that time period. It's really quite cool. And so being here, seeing all these movie cars, seeing all the products that resonate with pop culture from the early 2000s to present has a special place in my heart. Makes me feel like a kid again, which is not something that I get to experience every day. It's a very, very cool feeling.
Do you have something to say to our French Jada Toys fans who are watching us right now?
Yes. Thank you guys so much for your support. It means everything to us. And I know a lot of people and companies say that, but truly, from the bottom of my heart, on behalf of our Jada team, it's so cool for us to always be able to interact with the fans, not only in the US, but get to know them internationally as well. And anything that we can do to be able to deliver exceptional quality, product, and as well as just personal interaction to get to know us a little bit more from a human level, that's what we're all about. And so anytime we have the opportunity to interact with anybody, certainly we welcome it. If at any point you guys have the opportunity to see us, definitely come up and say hi. We'd love to chat it up with you guys. And we all consider you as part of the broader Jada family. And we're hoping to extend our reach throughout the world and really have people have a positive impact with the Jada brand.